Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a movie review. This movie is a war film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2015, directed by Cary Fukunaga, and this movie is called Beast of No Nation. So Beast of No Nation is about Agus. He is this young boy living in a remote village in an unknown country in Africa. His family is very loving, he's got friends, he's got an imagination as well that he likes to use. So the imagination is his escape from the reality that his country has been savaged by a civil war. So you've got the government versus the rebels, and the fighting is slowly coming to Agus' village. So one day, the government officials raid Agus' village and they execute Agus' family because they think they're spies. So Agus escapes into the jungle, and this is where he meets a rebel clan. Now this rebel clan consists of child soldiers who are under the command of a man known only as the commandant. And the commandant is going to show Agus what it is to be a warrior, what it is to be a killing machine, and he's basically going to lose everything that he knew in his old life. So he's gone from innocence to the cruelty of war that is threatening to destroy him once and for all. So whether or not it does is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Beast of No Nation. This is a very well told film. It's a very well told story, and it's a very, very shocking and depressing and tragic story as well. This is a movie that doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of war. It doesn't shy away from showing you some very disturbing, violent moments. It doesn't shy away from showing you the rape and the overall carnage that has engulfed Africa for many decades. And unfortunately, these events in Africa have gone by unnoticed, largely unnoticed by the world population, is because when it comes to wars, crimes against humanity, we think of Syria, we think of Iraq, those countries that really do have the limelight as far as world news is concerned. But as far as Africa is concerned, it's very largely unnoticed, and I think this movie really does a good job at getting this noticed and making the world open their eyes to the carnage in Africa and really getting it on the table and discussing it. So I think the movie really shows you the innocence that has been lost as far as war is concerned. And Agus' story is the story of thousands of people. This is a symbolisation of what's going on a daily basis. And I think Cary Fukunaga, he needed this movie to be as shocking as it was. It's because it will open your eyes, it will show you the cruelty, it shows you violence for what it is, which is absolutely, devastating. It doesn't affect just one person, it can affect a whole community, and in this regards it affects a whole continent. So the movie not actually being depicted in one particular country, I think, is a symbolisation for the continent itself. And so I think that until someone really takes notice and someone really actually tries to find solutions, this is going to keep going on and on. And so all of these lives have been completely shattered, and I think Cary Fukunaga really does a good job at painting this overall dilemma through one boy's perspective. And this one boy's perspective is Agus. This is a fantastic character. The actor who plays Agus is Abraham Atta, who is an absolute revelation. He is a brilliant actor. He does a brilliant performance of portraying someone who's very innocent. Then his innocence is corrupted by war, and that's a symbolisation for Africa in itself. You've got the beauty of Africa. In this movie, the cinematography is absolutely breathtaking. You've got these absolutely magnificent landscapes. It is just absolutely beautiful. The continent of Africa is one of the most beautiful continents on earth, if not the most beautiful. But then you've got the corruption of man that makes Africa ugly, and this is ultimately the innocence of Agus. Agus is representing Africa, and the war is corrupting him. The war is desensitizing Agus to all the good things in life. And so although you're seeing the beauty of Africa and you're seeing the overall capabilities of Africa, when you start to become desensitized after watching the violent scenes in this film, you start to become distracted and you don't notice the beauty anymore. So that beauty has been corrupted to a point where you feel the innocence has been sucked out, and all you can see right now is the carnage. And that translates through the screen very well, and that shows you the tragic sort of valley that the movie wanted to show. And so it's a very subtle way in doing so, but I think Cary Fukunaga and the cinematographer of this film do a great job at capturing that lost innocence, the great continent of Africa that has been besieged by mankind and the destruction that mankind can bring. So this movie is about child soldiers, which is very relevant, especially in Africa, and not only Africa, but in Syria and Middle East as well. They have been known to use child soldiers, and this is an absolutely unforgivable thing. It's because children are supposed to have fun, they're supposed to live lives as children, but these people are being forced to grow up very quickly. And I think Agus' performance was absolutely devastating, is because when he's doing bad things, when he's actually thrust into war, you feel that he's still regretting it. You feel that he wants to be that child is still in him. So he's not a caricature. He doesn't feel like it's two different characters. It feels like it's one character that is put into an absolute extreme dilemma that is forcing him to second guess what he is doing. But because he's been forced to do this, you feel that it's just a ticking time bomb, that Agus cannot sustain this because it's not who he is. And so you sense, whether it's just welling in the eyes or a tear going down his cheek, it's just a very subtle response from his character, and just very subtle body language that Abraham Ada delivers in his character of Agus, that makes it very depressing, and he's very, very sympathetic. You want to take him out of that situation as quickly as possible. Then you've got the other child soldiers, which were very interesting as well, because they come from a same background as Agus. They were once innocent people, so you feel that although they are close-knit, they're a close-knit family and they're fighting the government, they don't necessarily want to be doing this. And this is the wastefulness of war that I think is translated through the screen with the impact of a sledgehammer. These days you can't get the attention of someone just by tapping them on the shoulder. You need to hit them with a sledgehammer, and I think this film does that. The violence is, as I said, very hard-hitting, so be very careful of that. But as I said, it really needed to be. It doesn't glorify the violence, it doesn't make it gratuitous, it doesn't make it entertaining. It opens your eyes to actually show you the realities. It shows you enough, it doesn't go overboard, it's just something that stays respectful to its overall subject. So the other great aspect of this film is Idris Elba, who plays the Commandant. He does a brilliant performance at playing this guy that, once again, this guy is desensitised. You don't know too much about his background, but the overall relationship between Agus and the Commandant is very intriguing, is because this Commandant is Agus' new father, and Agus respects him, but he respects him out of fear. You don't really think that he truly loves him, but you feel that the Commandant wants the love of his troops. But because the troops are there and they don't necessarily want to be doing what they're doing, you feel that it's false love. So you feel that this character of Idris Elba has a lot of dimensions to him, because you feel that he wants to be loved, and that he himself might be a victim of this war. But he's a brutal man, and that he's been brought up through years and years of just continuous pain and suffering, that he's become desensitized, and he's basically just a killing machine now. So the overall performance from Idris Elba and Abraham Atta do an absolutely fantastic job at gaining some very, very true characters in a horrifying situation that make them very absorbing as they unfold. So the movie, it goes for an hour, 135 minutes, so 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I really didn't like the way that it actually dragged on a little bit. There were moments I thought could have edited a little bit and it could have been a lot better, but having said that, it doesn't derail it, it doesn't make it any less of a film, but I just thought there were moments that dragged a little bit. It didn't really have to be as long as it actually was, and there were moments towards the end of the film that I thought were a little bit theatrical, and it actually felt like it was going down the roads of an actual movie, as opposed to actually open your eyes to something that is actually really going on. So right at the end of the film, I thought was very soul-searching, very thought-provoking, and overall capped what was a very good war film that is from a perspective of a forgotten war, a forgotten sort of continent, that a lot of more people need to take the time and effort to really appreciate the carnage there, and at the same time try and come up with solutions and try to get more attention onto this relevant problem of child soldiers. So overall, this is a very, very impressive film. Not perfect, but having said that, it's still one of the best films that I've seen in a while. So overall, for Beast of No Nation, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.